Okay, so I got this PetZee wireless pet fence. The model is PZX60, and they have sent that to me so I can test it out within the next weeks. And let's just see what's actually in the box. And we see it's a transmitter, and that actually more or less just shows you how to use it real quick. Here we see the idea of it, and today it's just an unboxing, and then next week we are going to check it out. So let's open the box real quick. We first have this device. Just put it aside real quick, and then so that's a pretty good packing. I have to say that's pretty sturdy in there, so I'm pretty sure that's the receiver, which goes on the dog collar. Then we have this. These are the batteries, as far as I can read it here. And then what's in here, let's just see. Seems to be a lot of stuff in here. Interesting. Just make sure that we don't forget anything, and put the box aside real quick. Alrighty, so let's see what's in the box. Actually, these would be all the parts which are in the box, as you can see here. And I did not charge this one, but that's not a big deal, because I'm going to show you this next week when we actually test it in the field. Now it comes with a collar, this blue one here. And what is this? So let's just really carefully open this one. Okay, so that's pretty handy. It comes even with a charger. I always like that if it comes with a charger. Now I am pretty confident that we are having the charging cable in here, or the wire. And pretty nice packing. Okay, so pretty good. We have a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. As I said, I actually really like it when they send the complete set, and you do not have to run around in the house to look for a charger. Then this looks like a tool, and I am pretty sure that tool is maybe somehow connected to these metal pins. And I guess these metal pins are deciding on the size of the doggy. And this actually looks like little flex to me. And if I find and I guess these little flex, and we go into the manual later, but these little flex usually you could use to just point out the space in your backyard, or in your garden. But I have a backyard where I'm going to test it, and as I said, that's pretty nice here. So you see we have a set of flex. It's actually 2 sets, so that should give us enough flex to put them in the grass, and then we can actually mark where we have the fence, or like it's a virtual fence, right? It's an electric fence. Okay, so we have the manual here now, and I'm actually also unpacked the batteries. Now let's just see what it tells us here. So the first thing we want to do is actually putting a battery in here, and we need to fasten that battery with a coin. So the battery is actually in here, and perfect, it's actually lighting. That is good. And it's trying to make a connection, and you see it actually, and let me just put that up here. It actually comes with a pretty nice manual, I have to say, and we're gonna check that out later. Now we see the collar here, where we could actually attach the collar here. Then we have this if I read it right, the counterpart to it. Yes, and I should maybe take the battery out. So this fits in here perfectly, and then I am pretty confident that we have to attach these contact pins, and these contact pins, I am pretty sure that's the place where we would have the electric current running later, right? So, and for the time being, I'm just pulling them hand tight. And now you see, as I said, it comes with a pretty nice manual. And and that's what I told you with these flex, which they also ship. So you see you have a radius here. And so that's the radius where you actually mark where your fence is active. And that's why we have these flex. Now I am not using a big space next week when we are testing it. Let me just take the battery out real quick, because it's not the fault of the device, but the device wants to make a connection. So, and that's now how you train your dog, of course, because you have to bring your dog to that area where you then see that the current is flowing. And that's also good that you really mark the area, like I'm going to show you next week then with a follow-up video. It also here comes with the manual where you see if something is not working or if it gives you flashing lights. And I have to say, this is actually one of the better manuals I have seen so far. Kind of like that. And as I said, I am going to charge the device over the weekend. And then we are actually gonna test that out with my doggy. And as I told you, what's wonderful, I actually have the charging cable, everything with me. We also have a second set of batteries for the receiver. So if we run out of battery here, we can actually put in the second set. And just seeing these tiny batteries, I am pretty confident that the electric current, which is emitted through the collar, can't be that harmful. Now, full disclosure, I have an electric training collar for the dog as well, and I'm going to do the same with this fence. So when we test it next week, I'm actually going to test the electric current on my own body before I put it on my doggy and use it with a doggy. And I'm not recommend that you are ever going to do that. I am doing that because I have no health issues, so I know it's not a problem for me to test it. But I just want to feel what my doggy would actually feel if it oversteps the boundary where the collar then, and that's the way I guess it works, would send out a signal like a little, I'd say a little tiny current via the collar, so the doggy learns like, oops, I don't want to go there. I grew up in a pretty small village in my home country in Germany, where we had a lot of cows and there were always electric fences, and I have never seen a cow having any problems with an electric fence. And they just run at that fence one time and then they learned a lesson. With this system, it's even better because we do not have to draw any wires, because we have the sender here and then a receiver. So if the dog, and I guess that's the way it works, oversteps a boundary or comes close to a boundary, which we mark with the flex, then she gets, my doggy, a little signal, and then she knows, okay, I can just walk that far and then I have to go back. Anyways, that's just the unboxing of my PetZee Model P PZX 60 dog fence. And it's a wireless pet fence, which I really love because I don't want to draw any wires in my backyard, and I do not have a physical fence in my backyard. So I'm actually glad that they sent this one to me for free for testing. because I always wanted to test it and I didn't know how it works. So that's perfect. And next week, and now let me just take the camera out here real quick. Bear with me. And next week, we are actually going to test it with my sweetheart, Franny. So she's a 55-pound rescue from the shelter. She's 6 years old, and I am pretty sure she's gonna be super happy that she can roam around in the backyard now. And yeah, sweetie, that's for you. And next week, we're gonna test it out. This week it's too hot. It's over 95 Fahrenheit, so we can actually not go out. But next week it's in the 80s, my sweetheart. And then you get some play and garden time with me. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to charge the device over the weekend, but just to show you how it would look like if it's charging, or how the display looks, it looks actually like this. Has this wonderful green light. I'm pretty sure it's maybe changing colors or not. We shall see, but I guess it's just telling us it's working. So next week, once it's charged, and as I told you, it's a little bit too hot right now to go outside with her, like for extended time with my doggy. We're going to test this device, and then honestly, I can't wait to see how it works. Thanks for watching. I also should mention that it comes with a test light. So we are not testing it right now, but if you were to test it with a test light, you would actually pop it on here, and then you would see if it's charged or if it's functioning. Since we have not charged the sender right now, we cannot tell. And what I also want to mention before we stop the video, so I guess this pin here, so you have two different sizes of pin. That's if you have a dog with a pretty long fur and you take more space to I'd say penetrate or touch the skin of the doggy. So that's why you have two different pins here, I guess. And since my dog has a short coat, we would only use this one. And by the way, what I just realized, and I am not really sure if they did it on purpose or not, but if you have this counterpart here for the receiver, you can actually unscrew the battery. So I'm not sure if that's made for this or not, because I didn't read the manual yet, but I really liked it. So you do not need anything extra to work with this. Okay, I am sorry, a little correction from my side here. You actually have to attach the sender at any given time to the power source. That's my bad, but as I said before, we are going to test it next week because of the climate conditions here. But so that was my bad, and I told you I didn't read the manual before, so my mistake. But yes, you need a power source. Okay, so I went outside into my garden now, and since it was actually my bad not to mention that the sender actually needs a power source, I actually had the great idea. I have this power bank here, which is solar, and you cannot really see it now in the sunlight. I'm sorry for that, but the power bank actually works perfectly together with the sender. I am not sure if it's recommended, but I have two of these solar power banks, so I just wanted to show you. So if you do not have a power supply and you are outside with your doggy, so I would never say leave your dog unattended outside anyways, so which means if you would be outside with your doggy and you would not have a power supply and you have a power bank like I have, and that's a pretty strong one, you could actually use this, and then you can place the sender wherever you want in your backyard. So that's just an idea I have. And sorry again for the beginning of the video where I thought that we can actually better recharge it. In this way it makes actually way more sense, because if you plug it into a reliable power source, you always know that the sender is actually working. So again, but as an extra, I thought I'll share that idea with you, since I gave you wrong information at the beginning of the video.